So what ends up happening with me is I get offered this super, well, I'll set it up. I'm broke as shit. I'm trying to make extra money. And this guy approaches me and he's like, hey, what kind of insurance do you guys have? And I'm like, I don't even know, man. I just whip out my insurance card. And I'm like, this kind. He's like, oh, okay. Well, listen, if you want to make some extra money, pass by our clinic and, we can maybe work something out. And it's a notorious thing in Miami that there's a bunch of fraudulent clinics. That's just a thing. Miami's the fraud capital of the world, by the way. Fraud capital of the world. I'm not proud of that at all. I came to find that out later after I got indicted that Miami was the fraud capital of the world, which is crazy. But what ends up happening is I'm kind of desperate. I don't really ask too many questions. I show up to some clinic. I sign a bunch of papers. The guy calls me after I finish and he pays me $800 in cash. $800? So I was like, oh shit. Okay, this is great. And he's like, oh, how many people do you know with this insurance? And I'm like, everyone at work. How big is your company? It's probably like 500 of us. He's like, well, I'll work something out with you if you bring some people, So he started paying me money and I start taking this just, again, me getting into these situations. I'm just like, yeah, like trying to do the best. Now I turn into the people I'm not trying to be like.
How many people did you send him from your company? Are you allowed to share that?
Yeah. I'm gonna get into that. So I start turning into the people I don't want to be like. I start applying my good qualities to a negative vehicle. And it just spirals. One person turns into two into 20, 20 into 40, 40 into 60. Over the span of a year and a half, I probably have like $500,000 in cash go through my hands.
$500,000?
Yeah.
You made $500,000 in a year and a half.
I didn't make it because a lot of that I had to pay out to people.
Yeah.
But physically, cash that went to touch these hands, I had $500,000. How much of that I made, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
I made a lot.
Yeah. And that's on top of your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, on top of whatever I made 9 to 5. So, yeah, I mean, life's good at this point, right? Like, I'm taking vacations and doing nice things. I have different kind of women are hanging around me.
Yeah. Well, how long? So that goes on for a year and a half.
Yeah.
How does it end?
Well, the guy who kind of introduced me to the whole thing, my plug, my connect, he stops answering the phone one day, which is very unlike him because I'm his money machine, right? Like when I call, it's because you're gonna make money. So he never ever he literally picked up the phone and been like, hey, what's up, brother? Like I'm at the DMV. Hey, what's up, brother? I'm on a date with my wife. Hey, what's up, brother? Yeah. Like every time. So I said, something's wrong. He's not answering the phone. Somehow I get a phone from a friend of his. I get a phone call from a friend of his. And basically she warned me that she's like, hey, we got to meet up. I was like, this is weird if she's asking me to meet up. She never asked me to meet up. I don't even know how she got my number. So we meet up and she's like, listen, the FBI broke down this guy's door. Like he's in prison right now. And I don't know what's going to happen, but he's not coming out anytime soon. So the guy ends up being involved in some other scam that he was running. Not what I was involved in, but some other shit. And that guy's facing like 15 years in jail. So what happens is he basically he tells the FBI, wait, no, I'm involved in a bunch of other shit. Let me tell you about all the other shit I'm involved in. And then that's how my case got blown wide open because of him, because he was the middleman between people like me who would bring the patients to the clinic and the clinic itself. So he was literally the middle point in the whole operation. So once they caught him and he gave everybody up, everybody went down. Now, the crazy thing is, I don't go to prison and nothing happens to me when he gets arrested. This is 2018. So I figured, I was like, all right, he went to jail. I'm going to stop doing this, right? Because he, not only was he the connect, but it's a good sign to stop, But of course, what happens, one of his people approached me and like an idiot, I kept doing it with the other guy. Should have never done that. But anyway, eventually that guy goes to jail. Same thing happens. Nothing happens to me. That's maybe like an extra 6 months. At that point, I stop. I really do stop. What happens there at that point is I go legit. My friend, I quit my job and I go open a legitimate company, like a real business, It was a medical marijuana doctor's office. It was right around the time medical marijuana became legal in Florida. So we help people get their medical marijuana cards. And that business does well because I basically turn all my focus to that. And, you know, same thing, same kind of practices and everything. We turn that business in 4 years into like 4,000 paying patients. And it goes really well. We actually draw like a strategic plan to go public and all this stuff. But then the pandemic hits, right? And then a year into the pandemic is when the FBI comes banging on my door, bro. So 4 years after the guy got arrested is when the FBI came and arrested me.